Hey everyone, ready to take a deep dive? You asked us to break down Aptos blockchain, and that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going deep into their white paper, digging out the juicy bits to help you understand how it works, why it matters, and what questions you should be asking.
And let me tell you, there's some seriously cool stuff in this white paper. We're talking next-level blockchain tech.
Well, don't hold back. The white paper starts by tackling a pretty big problem. This whole idea that blockchains just aren't quite ready for the mainstream yet. The outages, the crazy fees, the speeds that make turtles look fast.
Yeah, we've all heard those stories, right? And those are exactly the issues Aptos is trying to solve. They're all about creating a blockchain experience that's, well, enjoyable. Something that's affordable, fast, and easy enough for anyone to use.
Okay, I like where this is going. But reinventing the internet sounds like a pretty tall order. Where do they even start?
With a solid foundation, Aptos has a really well-defined structure with three key players: validators, clients, and something called the Move programming language.
All right, I'm intrigued. Let's break it down. Who are these validators and clients, and what do they actually do?
Think of validators as the guardians of the network, making sure everything is running smoothly and securely. They're like the referees, ensuring all the transactions are legit.
Okay, got it. So they're keeping everything honest. What about the clients?
Clients are basically everyone else who's using and interacting with the Aptos blockchain. So you, me, everyone listening.
So are there different types of clients? I'm picturing like a whole spectrum of users here.
You got it. There are full nodes, light clients, and wallets, each with its own purpose. A full node is like having the entire blockchain's history on your computer, super secure, but it takes up a lot of space. A light client is more like checking the highlights faster and easier to use. Then you've got your wallet, which is like your digital keychain, holding your assets on the network.
Got it. So validators are the referees, and clients, whether they're checking the full playbook or just the highlights, are all interacting on the Aptos field. And you called that last one the secret weapon, right? The Move programming language.
Ah, yes. Move. This is where things get really interesting. We're talking about a programming language designed specifically for blockchain.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity. We're talking about a whole new language here. Is it like learning blockchain slang, or is it something more?
Oh, it's way more than slang. Move is like the bedrock of Aptos, built from the ground up with blockchain security and flexibility in mind. And get this, Aptos itself is actually built using Move.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like writing a book about writing a book, using the same language for the story and the pages it's printed on. That's wild. So what makes Move so special?
What's really cool here is how Move handles digital assets. You know those horror stories about people losing their Bitcoin because they forgot their password?
Yeah, enough to make anyone sweat a little.
Right. Move is designed to prevent that. It treats your digital assets just like real-world assets with safeguards built in. It's like when you have a dollar in your hand, you know it's real. You can't just copy and paste another one out of thin air.
Right, I wish.
Huh, would that be nice? But in the digital world, that's a real risk. But Move prevents this with its resource-centric approach. Every digital asset on Aptos, whether it's a cryptocurrency, an NFT, or anything else, is treated as a unique, carefully tracked resource.
So no duplicate coins or vanishing NFTs. That's a huge relief. But the white paper mentions security a lot. Does Move handle that too?
Absolutely. Security is like built into Move's DNA. It has something called a bytecode verifier. It's like having a super thorough proofreader for your code, catching any errors or vulnerabilities before they can even become a problem.
So it's like having a security guard checking your code for bugs. That's reassuring.
Exactly. And because Move is used to build Aptos itself, the whole system is constantly evolving and improving, like a self-updating operating system, always one step ahead.
Okay, I'm getting the feeling that Move is like the secret sauce of Aptos. But what does all this security actually mean for someone like me, an everyday user?
It means peace of mind. You're much less likely to fall victim to hacks, scams, or, costly mistakes. For instance, have you ever worried about accidentally signing a malicious transaction?
Ugh, all the time. It's like that nightmare where you hit send on an email and instantly regret it.
Exactly. But Aptos has this thing called transaction viability protection to prevent that.
Transaction viability protection. Okay, that sounds like exactly what I need. Tell me more.
Think of it as a safety net. Every transaction on Aptos has a unique sequence number tied to your account, and it can only be processed once.
So it's like a tracking number, so no one can intercept it and use it again?
Exactly. And there's an expiration timer on transactions, too. So if you accidentally sign something you shouldn't have, It'll eventually just vanish.
Okay, that takes a huge weight off my shoulders. No more sleepless nights worrying about accidental clicks. Are there any other ways Aptos is looking out for me?
Remember how we talked about those nightmare scenarios of people losing their private keys and saying goodbye to their crypto?
Oof, don't remind me. My stomach drops just thinking about it.
Well, Aptos takes key management seriously. You have much more control over your keys and even have options for recovery.
So it's like having a backup plan for my backup plan.
Precisely. Aptos leverages Move to give you more flexibility and security when it comes to managing your digital assets. And the best part is, because it's all on the blockchain, it's completely transparent and trackable.
Okay, Aptos is definitely scoring high on the security front. But let's talk speed. We've all heard the stories about blockchain being slow. Does Aptos have a need for speed too?
Get ready for this. Aptos was practically built for speed. They use something called pipelined transaction processing, which is basically like a high-tech assembly line for transactions.
All right, so we're ditching the horse and buggy for a high-speed train. I'm into it. But break it down for me, what makes this assembly line so fast?
Imagine this. Instead of waiting for each dish to be prepared one by one, your entire meal is prepared simultaneously by a team of expert chefs. Each chef specializes in a specific part of the meal, and they all work together seamlessly. That's essentially what Aptos does.
Okay, so it's like a perfectly coordinated restaurant kitchen, all working in sync.
Exactly. Aptos breaks down transaction processing into stages, like different stations in our high-tech kitchen. First, you have batch processing, where transactions are bundled together like ingredients prepped and ready to go. Then, these batches are constantly shared between validators. That's continuous transaction dissemination,
Yeah.
like having runners swiftly move those ingredients between stations.
So no time wasted waiting around.
Not a second. Now, here's where it gets really clever. Aptos has found a way to order those transaction batches, like deciding which dishes to plate first at the same time as the transactions themselves are being processed, like those expert chefs cooking everything to perfection.
Hold on, they're doing two things at once. How is that even possible?
They've separated the task of ordering the blocks from actually executing the transactions within those blocks. It's like having the chefs cook the food while the servers independently figure out the most efficient order to deliver those dishes to the tables.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. So
Mhm.
Aptos has figured out how to cook the meal and serve it up at lightning speed, all thanks to this brilliant separation of tasks.
It's pretty elegant, right?
Totally. But does this restaurant ever run out of space with all this efficiency? We've got to talk about scaling.
Right, of course.
How does Aptos plan to handle potentially millions of diners, or in this case, users?
That's where Aptos' vision for the future really gets exciting.
Okay, lay it on me.
They're not just building a bigger restaurant.
Okay.
They're creating a whole network of interconnected restaurants, each with its own specialties.
Ooh, now that's thinking ahead. But how does that work in the world of blockchain?
It's called homogeneous state sharding. Instead of one massive blockchain trying to handle everything, Aptos can split its network into smaller, more manageable chunks called shards.
So it's like having those interconnected restaurants, each serving a specific set of customers, but all part of the same delicious experience.
You got it. Each shard operates in parallel processing transactions independently.
Okay.
This means Aptos can handle a lot more traffic without slowing down.
That's seriously impressive. So no more waiting in line for a table even during peak hours.
But you mentioned earlier that Aptos is putting the power in the hands of the community. How does that play into all of this?
Yeah. They have their own version of a customer loyalty program.
Okay.
It's called the Aptos token.
And just like those programs give you a say in what dishes stay on the menu holding Aptos, Aptos tokens gives you voting power in how the network evolves.
So it's like a democracy where your vote helps shape the future of the restaurant chain.
Exactly.
I like the sound of that. What can users vote on?
Everything from new features and upgrades to how these shards are managed users will have a voice in shaping the future of Aptos.
That's a powerful way to build a community around a blockchain. It's not just about the tech, it's about shared ownership and a common goal.
Exactly. Aptos is building a blockchain for the people, by the people. It's about creating a more inclusive, accessible, and user-friendly Web3 experience for everyone.
I love that vision. Okay, we've explored the ins and outs of the Aptos blockchain, from its super secure Move language to its plans for massive scalability and community ownership. It's clear Aptos is building something truly special.
Absolutely. They're challenging the status quo and pushing the boundaries of what a blockchain can be.
And on that note, we have one final thought-provoking question for you to ponder. Aptos is designed to handle much more than just financial transactions. Knowing what you know now, What are some other exciting possibilities? What could a world powered by a blockchain like Aptos look like? Keep those creative juices flowing, and until next time, happy exploring the depths of Web3.